One wall of ice was all it took to turn our team mission into a nightmare of cold concrete and quirk suppressing steel. The villains thought they had the upper hand, but they weren't prepared for the version of Bakugou and Kirishima that arrives when the person they love most is in danger. A version that doesn't follow the rules. The mission had gone sideways so fast that you barely had time to process it. One moment you were providing backup for Baku and Kirishima as they pushed forward through the abandoned warehouse. The next you were separated, cut off by a collapsing wall of ice that one of the villains had erected between you. He'd heard Bakugo's explosive rage on the other side, Kirishima's worried shouts of your name, but before you could respond, something hard cracked against the back of your skull. Darkness swallowed you whole. When consciousness crept back, it came with pain. Your head throbbed. Your wrists burned where they were bound behind your back, with something that felt like reinforced work suppressing cuffs, and every breath sent sharp jolts through your ribs. You were on your knees on cold concrete, the metallic taste of blood in your mouth. Awake already. You're tougher than you look. The voice was mocking, cold. You forced your eyes open, vision swimming, and made out three figures standing before you in the dimly lit room. The villains from the mission. Your little boyfriends are probably tearing the place apart, looking for you. How sweet. You tried to speak, but your throat was raw. Instead, you tilted your chin defiantly, meeting the speaker's gaze with as much steel as you could muster. That earned you a vicious backhand across the face. Your head snapped to the side, fresh pain exploding across your cheekbone. You tasted more blood. The heroes will come. You managed to rasp. And when they do, we'll be long gone. But not before we send them a little message. The villain, a man with a quirk that seemed to manipulate metal, based on the way the cuffs had tightened painfully at his gesture, crouched down to your level. See, we know who you are. Know that you're important to Dynamite and Red Riot. Figured hurting you might take them down a peg. Your stomach dropped, but you refused to show fear. You trained for this. You knew Kirishima and Bakugou are going to come. You just had to survive until then. The beating that followed was calculated. They didn't want to kill you, that's for sure. Not yet, though. But they wanted to make sure that you'd be in no condition to fight back. A punch to your already tender ribs. A kick to your stomach that left you gasping. More blows to your face until you could barely see. Through your swelling eyes. Through it all, you bit down on your screams. You wouldn't give them the satisfaction. You thought of Bakugou's fierce pride, the way it had rubbed off on you over the months you'd been together. You thought of Kirishima's unwavering strength, his constant reminders that being strong wasn't about never falling, it was about always getting back up. You could do this. You could do this. You could hold on. Enough, the leader finally said, and the assault stopped. You slumped forward, barely keeping yourself from collapsing completely. Let's get the cameras set up. Time to let those heroes know what happens when. The wall exploded inward with a deafening blast. Smoke and debris filled the room, and through your blurred vision, you saw a familiar silhouette backlit by orange flames. Bakugou, his palms still smoking, his face twisted in an expression of pure fury that you'd rarely seen from him. Get the heck away from them. His voice was a roar that shook the very foundations of the building. Kirishima came through right behind them, already hardened, his red eyes scanning the room before locking onto you. The relief that flashed across his face when he saw the state you were in Oh god, no. Everything happened so fast after that. Bakugo goes on the villains like a force of nature, explosions lighting up the room as he tore through them with a viciousness that would probably haunt your dreams later. Kirishima was at your side in an instant, his hardened hands surprisingly gentle as he worked on the cuffs. Stay with me, okay? We've got you. You're safe now. His voice cracked, and you'd never heard Kirishima sound so close to breaking. Oh god, what did they do to you? I'm okay, you tried to say, but it came out barely as a whisper. Your head lolled forward against his shoulder as the cuffs finally clicked open. Like hell you are. Bakugo's voice was suddenly close, and he felt another set of hands. His, carefully cradling your face. His touch was feather-light, so different from its usual roughness. And when you managed to crack your eyes open enough to see him, his expression made your chest ache. Fear, raw, undisguised fear. Shit, we need to get them out of here, now. I've got them. Kirishima was already scooping you up into his arms, cradling you against his chest as he stood. You wanted to protest that you could walk, but the truth was you weren't sure you could. Everything hurt. Everything swam. The villains. You started. Already knocked out and waiting for the police. Bakugo growled. Those bastards are lucky I didn't kill them. So freaking lucky. The next minutes were a blur of movement and voices. Paramedics, other heroes, flashing lights. You drifted in and out, but through it all, you felt Bakugo and Kirishima's presence. One holding your hand, another stroking your hair, both refusing to leave your side for even a second. Extensive bruising, possible concussion, cracked ribs. Will they be okay? Kirishima's voice was desperate. Yes, but they'll need rest and... Then get them whatever the heck they need. Bakugo snapped. He wanted to tell them that you were fine, that they didn't have to panic, that you'd survive, that this was part of the job. But the words wouldn't even come out, and exhaustion dragged you down into darkness again. This time a gentler darkness, one where you knew you were safe. The last thing you registered was Kirishima's lips, pressing softly against your forehead, and Bakugo's gruff whisper. Don't ever scare us like that again. You hear me? Never again. And to you, all you wanted to do was promise that you'd try. And then everything faded into darkness. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you liked this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And goodbye.